All right. Thank you for the time and giving an opportunity that you're giving to us. We are from the first team. Gonna we will tell about our uh, we will given a presentation about our mini reset. Our mini reset is all about the effect of salt solution concentration on osmotic pressure in potatoes. So I'm gonna explain the background summary of this mini resets because before we start we have to know what the background we're doing this experiment. So osmosis occurs due to difference in solute concentration and is influenced by the permeability of the cell. That's what osmosis is all about. And why we're using potatoes as the object is because potatoes are suitable for osmosis experiments because they have a large vacuolus and thick observable cell walls. Study, studies that show that immersing potatoes in NaCl or salt we know salt solutions can significantly reduce their mass depending.
Thank you for the time. Here as the second presenter, I will assess the problem formulation. 1. How does the concentration of a solution affect the osmotic pressure in potato? 2. To what extent does soaking enhance the effect of salt concentration on the osmotic pressure in potato? 3. What is the nature of the interaction and soaking in influencing the level of pla- plasm- plasmosis in potato cells? Alright, I will have I will have hand over the time to the third presenter.
Hello, let me introduce myself. My full name is Maria Idelvin Beda. I am from the Science Education Study Program. Here I am, the third presenter. I will explain the objectives of our group's mini research. This research I am to 1. Analyze the effect of salt solution or NaCl concentration on the osmotic pressure that occurs in potatoes or Solanum tuberosum, and to what extent the soaking duration strengthens the effect of salt concentration on the osmotic pressure in potatoes. 2. Determine to what extent The soaking time affects the physical changes of potatoes during the osmosis process. 3. Explain the relationship between the concentration and soaking duration on the level of dehydration and changes in potato cell texture due to osmotic pressure. Thank you. I will now hand over the time to my friend, the fourth presenter. Thank you.
My name is Johannes Bermastu Ketawa. I'm presentation research method. This this study uses an experiment method with a quality approach. The simples you see were potato, slice of uh, uniform size. Measure it manually using a rule to ensure the shapes variable do not affect the result. The potato were soaked in solution with varying concentration of 0%, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, and 50%. Each concentration was subject to the looking duration 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and 30 minutes, allowing for observation of the effect of after soaking the potato. We direct using tissue paper and challenge in mass, texture, and finish were observed in uh, indication of osmosis. The Persian digital cells change in shape, and as treatment was repeat time to increase and reliability. The observation resolution were this descriptive, tracking time on the physical change in the potato. The Enright experiment was independently at home using simple equipment will meaning challenge consistent observation producer and a stable environment to minimize external variable that could affect the result. Step Step 1, prepare all necessary tools and material. Ensure a glass and tools are clean. Step 2, pull the potato and cut them into uniform blocks children's. Then measure using a rule to ensure uniform size. 3, prepare a salt solution with virus concentration by dissolving inside salt into clean water in the glass. Step 4, place a potato slice into a glass containing salt solution according to its concentration, using all parts of the potato are sub energy. Uh, Step 5, let the silence uh, for 30 minutes in a calm uh, environment The environment in the experience is conclusion in at-home area. A small amount of cooking oil can be set on the surface of the solution to improvisation. Step 6. Uh, After 30 minutes, remove the potato slice, dry the surface with tissue paper, then observe physical change such as firmness, flexibility, and possible insights. Step 7. Record the observation for each salt concentration and compare them to draw conclusion about the effect of osmotic pressure. That's all, and thank you.
Also, okay, I'm here again to give a result about the results summary about our research. Um, the research data that we got from a total of 18 treatments were tested with combination of six different salt concentration and three shocking duration, which in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and 30 minutes, potatoes were observed, and from the potatoes we were observed based on change in texture, color, size, and surface appearance after shocking. Uh, the key findings, what we found in these experiments was about uh, in the 0% fresh water, 0% concentration fresh water, potatoes remained firm, dense, and slightly swallowed, increased turgidity from 10% into 20% of the concentration salt. The potatoes becomes like shrinkage and observe shrink shrinkage observe color faded slightly, texture becomes softer, and from the 30% until 50% uh 50% concentration of salt, the potatoes become wrinkling was the wrinkling was evident. The texture become very soft, and the point of being for became very soft to the point of being fragile. Indication suffer indicating that potatoes suffer the plasmolysis. For the definition of plasmolysis will be taught in our documents. And finally, the conclusion that we got in this presentation: if the higher the salt concentration and the longer the soaking time, the greater the osmotic pressure. Potatoes lost more water, become softer, shrank, and showed more wrinkling. And so that's all the result summary. And now we're gonna presentate about discussion summary from our experiments. So the principle of osmosis involves water moving from a hypotonic solution to a hypertonic one, through a semi-permeable membrane. What is hypotonic? Hypotonic is a solution, solution. It's a solution that having a less concentration from the um, I'm sorry, higher. So we're gonna skip to the next point. Higher salt concentration, 30% until 50%, result in more severe plasmolysis compared to the lower concentration, from 0% concentration until 20% concentration. Longer soaking times intensify the osmosis effect. The longer the duration, the more water exits the cell. And from the 0% concentration, it's mean in the fresh water, potatoes were turgid. What is turgid? It's when the texture felt so firm and crisp. Water entered the cells, and from 14% until 50% concentration of salt, potatoes become soft, wrinkled, and easily broken, and the cells lost a significant amounts of water. The combination of high salt concentration and long soaking time produced the most extreme osmotic effect. The results are consistent with osmosis theory and previous research uh, that we already told in the background summary, which is um, a research from Fatmawati and Ramadan at year 2000 at years 2020, and Nugroho et al. At 2024. The interaction between concentration and time is synergistic, not isolated. And we can see the picture that show that condition of potatoes before and after soaking. And that's all the presentation. Thank you, and see you next time.
Hello, Miss. Good afternoon. Let me introduce myself. My full name is Agustina Marcelina Padamani, and I'm from the Science Education Program Study. Now, I will read the conclusion and suggestion from our group research mini report. Based on the result of experiment, it can be concluded that the concentration of the salt solution and the length of soaking time together affect the osmotic pressure that occurs in potatoes or Solanum tuberosum. The higher the concentration of the salt solution, the greater the osmotic pressure generated, so that more water flows out of the potato cells. This causes the potatoes to experience plasmolysis, characterized by a softer texture, wrinkled surface, and shrinking size, especially at longer soaking duration. Conversely, in a freshwater solution 0%, potatoes experience increases target pressure because water enters the cells, making the texture harder, chewer, and the surface remains intact. This experiment demonstrates that the concentration gradient of the salt solution and the duration of osmotic exposure play important roles in determining the direction and speed of water movement through the cell membrane. For more accurate results, it is recommended that the potato piece be more precisely sized, the experiment be repeated more frequently, and the use of tools such as a digital scale to quantitatively measure change in mass. Overall, this experiment is effective in biology learning because it is simple, easy to perform, and clearly demonstrates the working principle of osmosis in plant cells. Thank you.